wanting to come back to work after sabbatical looks like this. According to a study conducted by World Bank in collaboration with National Sample Survey Organization, 20 million women left jobs between 2004 to 2012. 65 to 70% of these women who quit never came back to work at all. I took break for my 2 kids. In spite of being ambitious and wanting to come back to work, I could not. I found every reason around my situations and circumstances to say no to work and opportunities I got. Until I was pushed by my circumstances where my husband had to leave his job because of his medical conditions. Things went bad to worse. I had to take out my children from professional badminton academy. We sold our house in November, on 9th of November last year. I had to take charge of my family's financials and make things work. Today, I run a company. We have grown 10 times in last 1 year. We only hire women, and 90% of them were on sabbatical and they have kids. I'm also the president of Image Association of Bangalore. I was also Mrs. India second runner-up 2016. I have just authored a book called Tear the Fear, releasing tomorrow. It's my father's birthday, so I'm releasing it tomorrow. Now my question is, could I have done all this earlier? Why didn't I get those answers, those ways, those solutions, or those mentors before? I happen to ask and say the same thing to my father, and my father told me this story. Once upon a time, there was a king. He bought 2 eagles. One was flying high, as eagles are born to fly high. The other one, in spite of every training possible, did not move, did not fly. The king called all the trainers, but all failed. So he announced, anyone who will make this bird fly will be rewarded. A farmer came, and within seconds, this bird was flying high in the sky. Everyone was surprised. Everyone was surprised. And the king asked to the farmer, what did you do? And the farmer said, oh, I didn't do anything. I just cut the branch the bird was resting on. I just cut the branch the bird was resting on. Was I in my comfort zone? Was I in my comfort zone? Yes. What is comfort zone? Comfort zone is a psychological state where a person feels that he's familiar with his surrounding and he has control over his situations. He experiences no level of stress and anxiety. If you have taken a break to take care of your kids, marriage, or to help elderly people, and now wanting to come back to work, sabbatical has one setback. It leads to comfort zone. And this comfort zone kills your courage to come back. Combat your comfort zone. If you're trying to come back and reasons like this stopping you, it's new to you, you don't have the confidence to go back, or it disturbs your routine, you might be getting stuck into a comfort zone. It's not that your confidence will increase later. soon it will diminish. It's not that things will become familiar later. Soon it will be unknown to you. Today, if you decide, you may be able to find a route from your routine. But if you wait for long, this routine will become your habit, and this habit will turn into a comfort zone. And this comfort zone is like this black hole. It's going to suck you inside. And before you know, you're going to be lost for long, or might be forever. Combat your comfort zone. Now, how can you combat your comfort zone? Let's understand what combat means. Combat means fight. Oppose vigorously. 3 simple ways to combat your comfort zone. First, find a guide to roadmaps and not the roadblocks. Look out for people who could break through the similar situations rather than who succumb to it. How many of you remember Ice Age Part 2, Ellie? How many of you have seen, raise your hand, how many of you have seen Ice Age Part 2? Do you remember Ellie? Do you remember Ellie? Ellie is a mammoth. Ellie is a mammoth. But as she grew up with possums, she started to believe that she is a possum. And Ellie needed her, Nanny the mammoth, to make her realize that she is a mammoth. Look out for people. Be around with those people who could break through the similar situations rather than who succumb to it. Second, develop your combating ecosystem. As mothers, we want to do everything so perfectly for our kids, for our family, isn't it? Let me share this. When I had to travel to Sri Lanka for work, from the time I got to know till the time I took my flight, 18 days, I went through anxiety. Seriously. So much so that I gave 240 instructions to my house help when I was leaving, 1,024 to my husband because he needed more. My kids were young at that time, but in spite of that, 18 days, 100 times a day, I was telling them, be a good boy, be a good boy, be a good boy. I even instructed my neighbors. I bought groceries for 10 days, though I was traveling for only 2 nights. We do that. But what happened in this process is, somewhere I started finding ways to make my ecosystem work around my work. Now imagine for emergency, you have to go out for 1 day. What will you do? You will start finding ways so that your ecosystem remains unaffected when you are not there, in your absence. You don't have to be that central pillar the whole house rests on. There is a reason why the house is built on multiple pillars. Let every pillar share their respective weight and responsibilities. Third, make your setback or your sabbatical a launchpad. I want to share this. As I told you that we only hire women, 90% were on sabbatical and have kids. So this specific interview I remember, so this lady applied for the job of admin. She was a software engineer. So when I took her interview and I said, why such a shift? And she said, you know what, I took break and I'm away from work for so long. My industry is dynamic. Ring a bell? I don't think I can go back. So I asked her, what are the current software in your company? Or the current software or technologies in your company? So she listed all of them. I said, which are the upcoming one in your industry? She listed all of them. So I said, why don't you make your sabbatical your launchpad? She didn't understand. So to make her understand, I asked her one single question. Which is the biggest investment you did on yourself? And I want all of you also to think about it. Which is the biggest investment you did on yourself? And she said, there was a nice smile on her face, and she said, oh, I bought gold jewelry. The answer was quite expected, and I said, I'm asking, which is the biggest investment you did on yourself? And she said, yeah, I bought gold jewelry. She didn't understand. And at times, we also don't. Let's take example of corporates. When you're working, corporate is spending money to train you, to enhance your skill, knowledge. And you are out of work for so long. Why not keep yourself up to the mark? Let's start with reading, skill enhancement, knowledge upgradation. Maybe enroll yourself for another skill, new skill. You never know that your sabbatical will become a launchpad. According to Economic Forum Gender Gap Report 2016, India ranks 135 out of 144 countries when it comes to women in workforce participation. We are behind Yemen also. But there is another report. IMF, International Monetary Fund, says that if we have gender parity, if women are participating equally the way men are, then GDP will expand by 5% in United States, 9% in Japan, and India. The GDP will expand by 27%. I'm sure the questions are coming. What about government doing about it? What are the facilities available outside? Well, there are two things. What is government doing about it? Facilities available outside. And one is this internal fight. We can't control the external factors, but let me tell you, there is a gradual shift happening there. But the most important is this internal fight. We can't control external factor, but we can lead and steer through this internal fight to face the adversities of the battle outside. When I'm like, oh, I have so much to do, multitasking, kids, husband, in-laws, work, so much to handle, I remind myself of this dialogue from movie Martian, where Matt Damon is on planet Mars. He's stuck all alone and he's trying to come back home to planet Earth. And when he's back and asked, he says, when you are in space, space does not cooperate. That's the time you need to do the maths. Solve one problem, then only another, then next, one by one. And once you have solved enough problems, you're ready to come back home. Sabbatical to work is a transition. Transitional space that does not cooperate and will not cooperate. You need to do the maths. Fix one problem, then another, and then another. One by one, step by step. And once you have solved enough problem, you're ready to come back to work. I want to clear, before I end, one myth. Why women were born after men? Any answers? We were made to believe that we were made after men, so we are secondary to men. God kept His most beautiful, most perfect creation for the last. So cut those comfort, cut those branches, because you're about to unleash the true you. And all of you, all of us, are totally worth it. Thank you. Thank you. You have any questions, you can ask me.
Yeah, so not taking a career break, but I think the relevant portion of your talk was getting out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
And that is where a lot of us, at least myself, I've started thinking a lot about it. Is it that the comfort zone has become so comfortable that you
Yes.
don't even think about it?
Absolutely.
So that was very relevant, and I loved the pep talk that
Thank
you
you.
had. I loved the fact that the story that you told us in itself is so inspiring, right? Whatever you face, but how you've turned things around. So the whole experience, I think it's worth listening to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes, please. Can we have the mic for the lady, please?
I love the story, the way you told about the instruction which we used to give our family. The one point I need to point it out there, whenever a post maternity and post delivery, post delivery, we are joining the office, the tenema in the mind how the kid will be doing at home.
Okay.
But the thing which is come out, the working lady kids are doing far better than the home lady do.
Okay, just to add, and I'm sure, can I answer that question? And tell me if I'm wrong. So I was like a paranoid mother. Let me share that with you. I was a paranoid whether where my kid will go. I used to be there and things like that. But in last 1 year, 1.5 years, I've seen my children becoming more independent. I became independent and I gave that space to them to become independent. So let's not have that guilt that if we are leaving our children, we are giving them that space to be independent. You don't have to force feed them. They are grown up. My kids are now 10 and 12. They're grown up. I mean, we don't have to be there. I mean, even if your child is 2, you don't have to force feed. You're not breastfeeding him, right? So you can always move out and look for help and always come back. And trust me, they look for time with me now. Earlier, I was for granted. They never used to give me that kind of hug when I used to come back because I was for granted. Now they wait for me. Mama, when are you coming? When are we having our date? We always have Saturday's chai date. My kids pay for it, so they have this little pocket money. So that's what they can afford for their mom. Yeah, seriously, Saturday is a chai date for my children at Chai Point. Chai Point is earning a lot from us. Let me tell you that. But they look for that time, so let's not have that guilt. Let's really not have that. And I have learned it a hard way. I was like a paranoid mother. If my child is going for a birthday party, which is on a second floor, I'll be taking rounds right around there. I was that kind of a mother. But it helped me to come out of my shell, make myself independent, and I can see my children are so independent and a drastic change. So let's not have that guilt. Let's not go back with that. And I think we all are doing a great job. Yes, ma'am.
So, few things. One is I could connect to a lot, being a paranoid mother and all of that. Just curious, how old are your kids?
Mine, I just said, one is 12 and one is 10.
Okay, sorry, I missed that.
PG.
And then you started, and it seemed like you're very prepared, not very, upfront. But then you were so beautiful by the end of it. It was beautiful watching you say everything that you said. And it was simple and it was impactful. So thank you for that. Every time I have any impressions or judgment about somebody, and then that breaks, and I love it because it's amazing. So thank you for that, Shikha.
Thank you so much. And I think, so if that happened, we can break the notion that society has for us and we have for ourselves. So to add to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That story was amazing, the bird flying off.
Yes, the eagle one.
Yeah, personally I could relate.
And trust me, it is my father who told me, and I was like, seriously, And just to give you that example, the other eagle is my sister. She's flying high. She's got a daughter. She's director, learning and development with a very big company. And so that eagle, the first eagle who was flying high is my sister, and the second one was me. And to make me fly,
I think you were flying higher than
but what I'm saying is that to make me fly, I needed that farmer or that situation or something to push me out from my comfort zone. And so I don't know whether that situation was good or bad, but I think it did a good to me. Any other questions?
I would like to share, first of all, I really like the way you presented. Your confidence reflects, and probably your depth of the subject also reflects. Your stories, the way you were able to connect to the audience and make us connected. The accomplishment I feel is she says, Mama, I don't want you to get retired.
Can you just clap for her, please? And can I just add something to what you said, ma'am, is that you might have lost a little battle, but you won the war, bigger war. And let me thank you to the women like you, because we are creating a right generation, which is going to come up next. Setting example for them, that this is doable, right? We don't want to be the same mothers or the same generation, because I think now we have to start thinking that this is a very big war. The women empowerment will never happen. I mean, I'm very upfront here and telling you, women empowerment will never happen. The organization will work, the government will work, but it will never happen, because you know why? Because we are not working it at the root level in our house. We are creating generations after generations of men and women who believe that women are made to do only kitchen work and men is supposed to read the newspaper and only go to office. But I think we need to break that, and I must compliment to you and other women who are doing like this, that we are creating a next generation with right mindset, with right values, with equal opportunities. So thank you. Any other question? I think, yeah, okay.
Yes. I like the point you told that we have to build a supporting system around us.
Combating
Yes,
system,
it should be. But how do we continue seeing that the same support system is there with us?
Keep asking. Keep asking. I tell
Yes,
you,
yes.
I talk in a very normal manner, because, I don't
Yes.
have to, get very, theoretical. It's something very out of my life. Is that I never used to ask help. Never used to. Whether it is my mother-in-law, mother, my parents, my sister, my neighbors, never used to ask help. If someone once said no, I'll take it on my heart. And trust me, and tell me if you don't agree that you are doing it or not. Yeah, if your mother-in-law says, no, आज मैं नहीं देख सकती हूँ ये वो, and we take it to the heart. अच्छा कोई नहीं देख सकता है मेरे बच्चों को, तो मैं देख लेगी, मैं सब कुछ कर लेगी, मैं सब कुछ कर लेगी, I can do it. But in that, I think that's something that I learned, that I must ask. I must go back and ask again and again and again. And that came in a hard way, because when I needed it, then I became like that. I said, I don't care, because my house needs me. It's needed. I have to ask for help. So why not? Why do you wait for situations like this to come in your life?
So
Why don't you ask now?
just to add to that, what you can do there is,
Yes, please.
it's a give and take. So it need not be always asked. So we
Yes.
need to look what they don't have.
Beautiful.
We always provide them.
Absolutely. Give and take. Right? Very nice. So, very nice. Yes.
I want to tell something which you told. It really worked for me in my life currently. My mother-in-law stays with me,
Right.
and I give it to her. Like, I take care of her family, our daughters, support them in different ways, and she takes care of me like more than her daughter.
Absolutely.
And supports me a lot. Okay, that is a give and take.
So we can
Building
let go of
good
those little things in which can and looking at the larger picture. If your larger picture is very clear, my larger picture got very clear that I have to work, I have to get finances working and things and and I'm sure you must be having. If your bigger goal is very clear, all those things become. You won't see anything like that. So keep the target there. Then there's a very nice saying in Mahabharata when Arjun was why he could arrow in the eye is because his focus was very clear. He did not. So when was asked, he said, "I could only see the eye. You just see your focus. Rest everything will just vanish."
I just want to go back to the point about asking for help, because I think what was we do all often feel that we have to project a very strong face. And I think in you sharing that asking for help is valuable, you also very nicely demonstrated it, because you started your talk by revealing a very, very vulnerable part of where you were, And I think all of us in the room felt when you shared something so deeply personal and also shared a vulnerability, we all felt closer, like something like it was palpable, something in the mood of the room changed. It wasn't just a big lecture, it was like somebody sharing something personal. And I think, in demonstrating that, I think that gives us a message that, when we share a vulnerable part of ourselves, and asking for help is part of that, that's when we actually create really strong relationships. That's when we can really influence change. That's when we really make a difference, because people are much more receptive. And I mean, and you really demonstrated it beautifully, really beautifully.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much. Is there anything that I can answer?
I just want to
Yes.
you are a perfect Toastmaster. Because currently I'm not a member of Toastmasters, because I was part of Toastmasters, and I was telling to Anshuma the same thing. She is the perfect Toastmaster.
Well,
So I think many of us might know about Toastmasters or not, but still you are the example for all of us that how we can ourselves change and inspire with our talk.
Right.
That's something I really got inspired today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
And that's
so much.
plus one. I also had in mind, like, you come out of Toastmasters.
No.
Exactly. You were.
No, I've never been to Toastmasters.
So, sorry for the last one properly. I just wanted to know a little more about your organization.
So I run a company called Synthesis Trading Private Limited. So we have two divisions. One of our brand is Indian. I'm sure one of your kids will be in our academy. So we run an academy called Indian Academy of Public Speaking, which cater to different age categories. So one is from 6 to 16. Then we have teenage. So we call it as young adults from 16 to 30. Then we have professionals who have not less than 10 years of experience. So that is public speaking. We have written books. We have developed the curriculum. And at this point of time in India, we are the only organization who's working at the organization level. So there are a lot of people who does this kind of skill improvement, but on the organization level, so I could take it. And created like a complete different product. And the other one is Image Global Consulting. So we help individuals to match their image with their, so that it becomes easier for them to achieve their goals. How to create your personal brand, how to project the right perception and image for you to achieve and get near to your goals.
And how do you do recruiting? I have a lot of friends who've taken sabbatical and
Yes,
they really want to get
very
back
good
to
question. So in our HR department, so that Anshu is there. So if you have any ladies who are planning to come back to work and have good communication skills, we have, so what we have done is a little fine-tuning with the work culture that we have and the facilities that we provide for ladies. And so you can get in touch with Anshu, she's in our HR, and you can just send across your resumes to careers at the rate. Go to our website, it's careers, and then you can get in touch with her. And we also go on Mom's Group, we advertise that these are the facilities available. We are giving you part-time opportunities, full-time, flexi hours, weekend option when your husbands are there and they can look after kids, we can give you that option as well. So why not? Because that's something that came to my mind, is that at least when you can't work during the weekdays, when you don't have a support system, why not work on weekends? Right? Couple of hours. I know you have to give time, because then the question will come. My husband will say, "Mujhe golf khelne jana hai." Yeah, I mean, there is a very touching story, and I was so upset listening to this. Can I share? Can I take a minute or I'm done? Just 30 seconds. So there was this girl, and my sister said that she's going through a divorce, and she's in a very bad situation. If you can just help her out, and that's the time we were expanding. So we have operations in Bangalore and in Mumbai also. We recently started in Mumbai, so we've got 20 here and 2 in Mumbai. So she said, since you're starting in Mumbai and she lives in Mumbai, can you help her out? So I said, yeah, she's her childhood friend. So I said, why not? Anyone, just send her. So I spoke to that lady. And she was like very happy and excited, thank you, Dee, and things like that. Let me just come back to you and things like that. So I was like, okay. So in the evening, I said, my team is already there in Mumbai. If you're okay, then go and meet them today. In the evening, she calls me up and they said, thank you for the opportunity, Dee, but it's not going to be able, I don't think I can work out in weekends. I said, why? She said, I asked my husband, but he has his golf, so he can't take care of the child. And I can't squeeze out those many hours. I said, it's not full. It's the 3 to 4 hours that she needed to take out. And how old is the child? 8 years. This is what our ladies and as women, we are all are going at. So 2 men sitting out there, if you can, I'm not saying you're doing it. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying most of the men take their things as priority, even if it is their recreational or entertainment thing. It's more, on a priority than us, than our aspirations and dreams and our work and our careers. Their things become so, this thing, and I was so hurt. And I also have another example, she's sitting here, but so she comes and tells me, so when she was hired, I don't get into interviews, I only meet the person in the end. So she was part of our team, and usually I work till 8:30 in the night, and during that time she was there, so she came to me and we just a normal informal talk, and she said, Shikha, I want to share something with you. So she wanted to thank for the organization, and she said, when I went for one interview, I was till the last round and I was rejected. She just got married. She was rejected, and upfront the HR told, I said, that's another maturity level of the HR department of Indian companies, that they told her also that we are not taking you because you might get pregnant. I said, that's none of their job. That's my life. And then she said that, she said that, I got rejected because I might get pregnant or have a family and I may not be able to travel. And then what is the point of investing in me? Time and resources. Imagine what all we are going through. But if we can just pull, as you rightly said, if we can just pull and give our helping hand to one and pull them up. Imagine how many of us are here? 80? 160 will be up again. I'm happy that in 1 year I could get 25 of these women back to work. But I think we all can. We all can. If you're working in corporates, and especially as entrepreneurs. And I must thank to this team that I have with me. And I must say that if I was able to make my figures multiply by 10 times, it's because of this wonderful, wonderful skill set which others could not recognize. I at least could see, and I must thank everything that I could get in this 1 year. It's because of this wonderful skill set. And I think corporates are, I don't want to use the word, you can decide whatever the word you want to use for them, not utilizing, recognizing this wonderful, incredible, impressive skill set. Thank you.